Introducing a completely redesigned experience that you can sense. And that senses you. The new Dell Latitude laptops bring your work closer to you.
Welcome to Nine's Late News. I'm Michael Genovese and these are your headlines this Wednesday night. Breaking now, Australians to be evacuated across the Middle East as the US talks up a potential attack on Iran. Also breaking, murder charges laid over the alleged abduction of Sydney grandfather Chris Bagzarian, and police say there's more to come. Mortgage holders brace for another rate rise as inflation again runs hot. Donald Trump's unprecedented State of the Union address, but critics say it was unremarkable too. The Prime Minister and a Chinese dance troupe. New details on a bomb threat at the lodge.
This is 9 News with Michael Genovese.
Good evening. We begin this bulletin with breaking news. There are fears a United States attack on Iran is imminent tonight, with the Australian government directing the evacuation of Australians across the region. Straight to Europe correspondent Josh Bavis now. Josh, how serious is this development?
Well, Michael, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade has issued this new advice just a short time ago. Firstly, it's ordering all dependents and family members of officials in Israel and Lebanon to leave now. Any citizens in those countries are being asked to utilise commercial airlines while they're still flying. However, for dependents of officials in Jordan, Qatar and the UAE, they're being offered voluntary departures right now. A statement says the security situation in the Middle East is unpredictable. Regional tensions remain high and there continues to be a risk of military conflict. Conflicts in the Middle East could result in airspace closures, flight cancellations and other travel disruptions. Australia now follows behind several other countries that are moving non-essential staff out of the Middle East. The US has warships and aircraft currently in striking range of Iran as Donald Trump urges the Iranian leadership to abandon its nuclear ambitions. Now, for Australians in the Middle East, they're being asked to stay across the latest advice because the situation could escalate rapidly. Michael?
Josh Bavis, Europe correspondent, thanks for the update. To breaking news back home now, and 2 men have been charged over the alleged abduction and murder of Sydney grandfather Chris Bagzarian. Madison Scott is covering the story for us. Maddie, what have you been told by police?
Michael, after 16 hours of questioning at Riverstone Police Station and in the last few minutes, charges have been finalised. 29-year-old Jared Andrews and 24-year-old Daniel Stevens have been charged with murder and kidnapping offences. Earlier this morning in Sydney's northwest, the men were arrested and tomorrow morning they'll be fronting court. Today their homes were raided, police alleging they've seized items which link the pair to the kidnapping and murder of innocent elderly widow Chris Bagzarian. A Lake Macquarie home about an hour and a half north of here was also searched. It's understood Mr Andrews visited that address just days after allegedly committing the crime. Both men were living with their parents, who police say were incredibly shocked when the riot squad arrived this morning. On Friday the 13th, police alleged the young men were involved in the snatching of Mr Bagzarian from his bedroom in North Ryde in a gross act of mistaken identity. Detectives believe the grandfather was murdered at an abandoned property in Dural before his body was dumped in a paddock at Pitttown. Police say they've allegedly linked both Jared Andrews and Daniel Stevens to these 3 scenes.
I want to assure you that our work is not done, and we will continue to find out those and identify those that were also involved in this horrible matter. It's somebody's worst nightmare, right?
Now, an autopsy is yet to be conducted, which will give police a clearer understanding of just how Chris Bagzarian was allegedly murdered. Michael?
A huge development in a major story. Maddie, thanks for the update. Key figures being examined by the Reserve Bank reveal Australia's core inflation is at an 18-month high. Let's bring in Scott Phillips, Chief Investment Officer at Motley Fool. Scotty, good evening. This is not good news. Talk us through these numbers.
Jenny, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head. I wish I had something positive to tell you. Here is the tale of the tape. Inflation at 3.8% for the third time in 4 months. Last month was 3.4%. So we've got a really, really tough situation. And it's been higher than 3% since July last year. Maybe even worse. The number is lower, but the direction is going the wrong way. The so-called trimmed mean inflation, that's mean, the average, with the outliers trimmed off, that's why they get the name, is at 3.4% up from 3.3. Too high and unfortunately getting worse.
What's driving it?
Comes down to a lot of things. The worst part of the inflation numbers are probably that across the board, almost everything is up. You know, sometimes there's a big outlier here or there and you think, well, if that gets fixed, we're okay. But it's right across the board. Housing up 6.8%. Alcohol and tobacco up 5%. Food up 3.1%. Across the board, we're seeing really significant lifts. Clothing also very, very high. It's everywhere and it's everything, unfortunately.
What else can be done, though, to try and bring it back into line?
Oh, Jenna, how long have you got? The answer is government action, mate. And whether this is not a political statement, but both state and federal governments are running persistent budget deficits. Now, what is a deficit budget? I mean, it's taking out $10 and putting back $11. It's stimulating the economy. And if you think about it, the Reserve Bank's got its foot stamped on the brake. The government, and governments plural, state and federal, have their feet strongly on the accelerator. So you've got this really weird scenario where the government is not doing anything at all to help the RBA with its war on inflation. And unfortunately, that's leaving us where we are today.
And for mortgage holders, the question everyone would be asking tonight, what impact will this have when the Reserve Bank board meets next month?
Yeah, that's the ugly one. Look, the market was kind of saying, look, one in February, maybe one in May, thinking that the RBA would have some time to let the rate increase settle. Look, I'm not going to make predictions, Jenny. You know I don't do that. But the reality is, if you're sitting around the RBA table in a couple of weeks' time, you look at this data and say, well, guys, what else do we do? As I've already said, inflation at 3.8% for 3 of the last 4 months. It's not coming down. I don't know what they will do, but I feel very, very uncomfortable if it was me leaving rates on hold when inflation is clearly public enemy number one.
Scott Phillips, Motley Fool, thanks for your time.
Pleasure. Thanks, Jenna.
1 hour and 41 minutes. That's how long Donald Trump's State of the Union address was today, making it the longest in history.
We now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. Bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. The state of our union is strong.
Now, to break this all down, I'm joined by former advisor to President Clinton, Laura Schwartz, live in Florida. Laura, thanks for being with us tonight. Interestingly, this breaks the record which was set by Donald Trump's speech this time last year. What did you make of it?
Well, he does hold 5 of the top longest State of the Unions out of 8. President Clinton held the rest. Well, over this 108-minute timeline, I think the kindest way to say and frame it is to say that it was factually challenged and quite out of touch, because right now Americans 60% disapprove of his handling overall of the presidency, and he's underwater on all of the issues, including the ones that got him elected, such as the economy and immigration. So right now, he's speaking to an American people saying, we have no affordability problem. I've solved it. Your prices are going lower. And yet when they go to the grocery store and they have the higher tab at the end of the day, they don't feel it. So instead of coming to this address to speak to the American people to say, I know it's not where you want it, we are on our way, and this is what we are doing, he claimed it was all rosy and ready for them to succeed.
Well, he used some B words: bigger, better, brighter, bolder. It's a volatile time in the United States right now. You're saying that that's just not going to land in middle America.
Yeah, we're finding it even. What's remarkable, Michael, is that it's not just among Democrats, right? But the big 3 voter bases that got him elected just over a year ago were Latinos, the Black Coalition, and independents. And right now, independents went from in the mid-40s to supporting Trump to just about 26. The Latino bloc's down to 22 from 45. So he's losing these areas. So you can take and make the State of the Union an opportunity. But, you know, Donald Trump, he is the consummate showman. Everything's great. He's the best ever. America can't even get better. But he's there now to save you. And so he really puts on that front. It was a campaign rally last night instead of a policy addressed to the American people.
A massive political event, a huge TV audience, also in person. You had the lawmakers, you had many of the president's supporters, and also some Winter Olympians this time.
We did. And I have to say that is always a highlight of the State of the Union. Something the president is able to do is use space in the gallery where the First Lady sits and throughout the Congress's gallery to highlight people. And we saw Team USA men's hockey champions come in. That was a tremendous moment and a great moment for Trump, as well as here veterans, current serving military, people that have picked them up and gotten themselves on their way after foster care and economic trials. And these are all great stories, but you should really harness those, speak how they connect to the American people and what you're doing to make sure that everyone can feel that prosperity. But it was certainly an exciting night when Team USA walked in.
Laura Swartz, thank you for your insights live from Florida this evening. The family of accused Bondi Beach terrorist Naveed Akram have been turned away from a visit at Goulburn Supermax, southwest of Sydney, after prison officers stopped their vehicle.
A search was conducted of the vehicle that found what has been described as a fruit knife and other pieces of writing. That writing has been considered by the Terrorism Investigation Squad, and it is satisfied that it is not terrorist-related material.
No formal action has been taken against anyone in the car, but the visit wasn't allowed to go ahead. An 89-year-old man has had a miraculous escape after a train crushed his car in Melbourne's inner north. The front of the Mercedes was hit within seconds of stopping on the tracks at Brunswick before being smashed against the boom gate. The driver was released from hospital a few hours later. 3 Adelaide schools were sent into lockdown after reports of a man acting suspiciously. Students had to hide in closets, their classrooms and a gym as police swarmed the area. The suspect, however, turned out to be nothing more than a staff member carrying a prop gun. Investigations are continuing tonight into the bomb threat that forced the evacuation of the Prime Minister from the Lodge. As federal politics reporter Conor McGovern explains, police fear Anthony Albanese has been caught up in the Chinese Communist Party's escalating campaign against a banned religious group.
International dance troupe Shen Yun was the target of a false bomb threat because of its links to Falun Gong, a movement that's banned in China. The group performing on the Gold Coast tonight, albeit with extra security. That's despite dangerous emails demanding they cancel upcoming appearances, or it would be the Australian Prime Minister that pays. Large quantities of nitroglycerin explosives have been placed around the Prime Minister's residence in Canberra, one email read. If you proceed with the performance, the lodge will be blown into ruins and blood will flow like a river. Federal police taking action last night, sweeping the lodge. The threat ultimately a hoax, but the Prime Minister was evacuated as a precaution. Anthony Albanese making light of last night's situation, declaring his dog Toto was keeping him safe, but there was a more serious response.
Turn the heat down, for goodness sake.
Those threats will be taken seriously by the police and we are well supported by them.
That this is unacceptable. I want to make sure that we have a united front.
Threats to Australian politicians are on the rise. Last year there were almost 1,000, while last week a Western Sydney man was arrested for allegedly sending death threats to Treasurer Jim Chalmers.
Former union heavyweight John Setka has been charged again for allegedly harassing a CFMEU administrator. The 61-year-old was arrested this morning. Penelope Lish has more.
John Setka was arrested in his home suburb of Footscray in Melbourne's west this morning by detectives from Task Force Hawk. The operation set up to investigate allegations of criminality and corruption within Victoria's building industry. Setka has now been charged over allegations he sent a message on Christmas Day last year threatening an official from the federal government's backed administration that seized control of the CFMEU in 2024. He's also been charged with committing offences while on bail. He's told The Age he didn't threaten anyone, claiming he was just expressing his opinion in the messages. In his words, people should just toughen up and drink a bit of concrete and harden up a bit. It is the building industry. At the time of his arrest today, the 61-year-old was already facing a series of charges laid by Task Force Hawk late last year. Those charges relate to allegations he used a carriage service to menace or harass administration officials, including lawyer Jeffrey Watson SC. Setker has been bailed again today. He will face court over the fresh charges in June of this year. The CFMEU has declined to comment.
Still to come on Nine's Late News, a tearful plea. The US television star offering $1 million to help find her abducted mother. Heads roll after the museum heist that shocked the world. And giddy up, Brisbane Airport turns navy and gold as rugby league heads to Las Vegas. Live on 9 and streaming on 9 Now. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. Australian-born TV host Savannah Guthrie is offering up to $1 million for information leading to the recovery of her missing mother, Nancy. The American journalist admitting for the first time the 84-year-old may no longer be alive.
It is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed.
Savannah Guthrie is living in agony.
Fearing for her, aching for her, and most of all, just missing her. Just missing her.
The FBI has been offering $100,000 for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie. Now her children say they'll pay up to 10 times that for her return.
We are offering a family reward of up to $1 million. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. If this is what is to be, then we will accept it.
Authorities have still not named a suspect in the case, which is quickly going cold, despite releasing footage of an armed, masked man on the grandmother's doorstep.
Someone out there knows something that can bring her home and help us bring our beloved mom home, so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave and courageous and noble life that she has lived.
In the United States, Hannah Sinclair, 9 News.
The director of the Louvre in Paris has stepped down months after an extraordinary heist at the world's most visited museum. France's President Emmanuel Macron accepted the resignation, calling it an act of responsibility. In October, thieves used a mechanical lift to break into the building and steal jewellery worth hundreds of millions of dollars. A suspect in the US state of Ohio has been given the title of Oscar the Grouch after trying to hide from police in a rubbish bin. A sanitation worker getting quite the shock when he opened the lid, the man jumping out and running away. He was arrested a short time later. Western Australia could be in line for another population boom. New research predicting the state could hit 4 million within 2 decades. Live to Emma Griffiths with more. Emma, what's behind the potential surge?
Well, Michael, a new model predicts the next mining boom will entice more to call WA home. The research claims when iron ore prices rise, jobs follow, and around 12 to 18 months later, so do the people. It's predicted will reach 3.5 million by 2033, climbing to 4 million 10 years after that. But it's tough news to swallow for first home buyers chasing the WA dream.
Must have applied for upwards of 60, 70.
Yeah, at least, yeah, and just getting emails of denial all the time, even though we've both got reliable incomes, full-time jobs.
If an Australian's even struggling to get a lease, what kind of chance do we stand?
Perth house prices now cost around $780,000 and units more than $500,000, with concerns critical housing shortages could derail the boom. Michael?
Emma Griffiths, thanks for the update. Queensland Cowboy supporters are preparing for the trip of a lifetime, just days out from the team's Las Vegas clash. Lily Greer reports from Brisbane Airport.
Well, the country's most committed Cowboys fans are about to embark on the muster of a lifetime. They're taking a chartered Qantas flight from Brisvegas to Las Vegas, heading to the entertainment capital to see their hometown heroes take on the Knights in a historic clash. I'm told around 220 Cowboys fans are taking this flight out of Brisbane, and around half of them have actually made the journey from far north Queensland, from Townsville down to Brisbane, across to Vegas. But thousands have passed through the gates of the Brisbane airport over the last couple of days, taking flights to LA, to San Francisco, even via Fiji. They are getting over to Vegas any way they can. And we caught up with a couple of committed Cowboys fans this evening. All right, Fred, Paula, you would never get a chance to wear these jumpers up in sweaty far north Queensland, but show us what you are taking over to Vegas.
Look at that. What a wonderful opportunity we've got to use them in 5 degrees temperature, not 25 degrees.
And you were telling me you've been Cows fans for more than 30 years. How special is it to go from, 1300 Smiles Stadium over to that flash new stadium in the city, and now you're going to Vegas?
Yeah, well, that's it, people are just so supportive of the Cowboys. They come in from Mount Isa, they come down from Cairns, and since the new stadium's been built, it's just brought more and more people in. People have come now and decided that they want to go to Vegas to support the Cows.
And what are you, most excited for out of this whole trip? Just to see them run out onto the field?
I think it is. It's just one of those situations where, we'll never get the opportunity to do it again. And, once they run out on the field, you can imagine that the Cows are always everyone else's second team, so it'll be just an absolute roar.
And these superfans have plenty in common, plenty to talk about in the 13.5-hour flight over to Vegas, and there's plenty of fan activities planned for them over on the ground there. And of course, back home, special coverage of the NRL taking over Vegas kicks off at midday on Sunday on 9 and 9 Now.
Stay with us. When we return, a teenager charged under laws targeting sexually explicit deep fakes. That story's coming up next. Plus this one, grandfluencers. These are the older Australians cashing in on social media. Welcome back. We have news just in now out of Sydney's west. A man has died in a unit fire at St Mary's. Police say a woman was able to evacuate herself from the unit and is now being treated for serious injuries in hospital. The body of a man in his 40s found inside. Forensic teams are now trying to work out what sparked the blaze. An Adelaide man has become the first South Australian to be charged under tough new Commonwealth laws targeting those creating sexually explicit deep fakes. Beth Excel has the details.
These are serious allegations. The 19-year-old is accused of creating fake, naked pictures of a young woman and uploading them to social media. William Yates faced the Adelaide Magistrates Court today. It's alleged he uploaded images depicting the victim to social media platform X, which was formerly known as Twitter, using multiple accounts. He's facing 20 Commonwealth charges, including 12 counts of using a carriage service in a harassing or offensive way and 8 of the creation or alteration of sexual material without consent.
Put images online of a young woman?
Come on, buddy.
Anything you'd like to say about what you're accused of?
Will, stay with me.
How are you going to be pleading, Will?
That second charge was recently introduced by the federal government following an increase in pornographic images generated by artificial intelligence. Yates is yet to enter any pleas to the charges. His lawyer told the court they are negotiating with Commonwealth prosecutors.
Let's get ahead of your finance now and looking at the markets at home. The All Ords closed in the green, up 114 points. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones is higher, gaining 370 points. And there's more green in London, the FTSE 52 points higher. Checking the Aussie dollar against the major currencies right now, buying 60 euro cents, 70 US cents and 111 Japanese yen. On to commodities. Gold is sitting at $5,100 US an ounce. Silver is at 90 and oil is buying $70 US a barrel. Move over millennials and Gen Z. There's a new generation cashing in on social media. Content creators over the age of 60 booming in popularity online, according to new research, especially in the tourism marketing.
Younger influencers, they are more curated and their expressions are not based on authenticity.
I've got wrinkles and grey hair and spots from the sun, and I think women can just relate to that.
Jane McCann has amassed 200,000 followers on Instagram, proving that influence only gets stronger with age. Stay with us. Coming up in the news, the latest national weather forecast is next.
Transform your home into a haven with cool, pure, clean air.
creating a world of perfect comfort. Take your home to the next level with the Air Specialists.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your national weather forecast now. Thick cloud over much of the middle of the country, brought on by tropical moisture dragged south and southeastward from a deep low. Thunderstorms through much of the north. Tomorrow's forecast across the capitals: rain in Sydney, up to 35 mils expected, a top of 25 degrees. Melbourne, cloud around and 25. Brisbane, 30 with showers increasing. 29 and sunny in Perth. 32 degrees expected in Adelaide tomorrow. Some cloud through Hobart, 20 degrees. Canberra, 22, and Darwin, some rain around, 32 degrees the top. Rounding out the working week, Friday's forecast: Sydney, more rain on the way, up to 20 mils, a top of 26. A shower or two in Melbourne as well, 27 degrees. Brisbane, up to 40 mils of rain expected, along with a top of 27 degrees. Warm in Perth, 36 degrees the top. Some rain in Adelaide, 34. Hobart, 23 degrees. Cloudy and 23 in Canberra. Some showers expected in Darwin and a top of 31 degrees. If you missed anything from tonight's bulletin, you can catch up on 9 Now. This is 9's late news for this Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow night. I'm Michael Genovese. Thank you for your company. Good night.